What if you could make your next $50,000 or an extra $50,000 in real estate without selling a single home? See, the big problem is close to 1 million agents last year didn't sell or close any single deals. That means close to 1 million people out there who joined this industry haven't made any money, and in fact are probably lost thousands of dollars, because you have to pay, depending on where you're at, a couple hundred to several $100 just to get your real estate class, right? Then you got to pay for the exam, right? The PSI exam. You got to pass that, the national and state exam. Then you got to pay for board dues. Then you got to pay to join a brokerage. There's so much fees. So 1 million people last year close to probably lost $1,000 in real estate. So in this video, I'm going to give you a bulletproof game plan to get you paid, right? And this is going to work whether you're a brand new agent or whether you're an experienced agent. Like, this is going to help you get way more money, because most agents think you can only get paid by the core four. What's the core four, you ask? Right? Helping people buy, sell, invest, or rent in real estate. And that is not the only way you can make money as an agent. That's what they want you to think to keep you broke, right? And honestly, they're not doing it on purpose. It's that most people are so traditional. They don't know any other ways to make money outside of doing the regular job of an agent. So again, I'm going to show you how to do this, and I'm going to give you a game plan. So let's get right into it. So about 4 years ago now, I joined a real estate mastermind, and in there, I was probably the youngest, if not the youngest by far, in the group. And one day, one of the co-hosts of the call was like, "Hey, John, do you mind teaching a class on social media?" Because I had made a post sharing some really simple tips, and I told her, no, I never taught a class before. And she responded back, "Hey, John, let me know when you want it scheduled." So I couldn't tell her no twice. So I ended up teaching that class. We had over 440 agents registered for it. That class blew up and made me realize two things. One, that I had a love for teaching. Like, that high that I got, that adrenaline rush I got prior to teaching that class, I remember like it was yesterday. I was so like amped up. It felt like I was getting ready for like a Friday night light football game back in high school. Like, I was so amped up for that first class. I was like, yeah, I gotta do this more. Like, I really enjoyed that whole process, preparing for the presentation, making the presentation, delivering the presentation. That whole process was amazing. And so that's the first thing I learned. The second thing I learned is that there's a massive gap when it comes to like the average agent and what they know about social media and marketing. And so I was like, at that time period, I gotta keep doing these classes. Now, again, at that time, I was still focused on being an agent. I wanted to sell houses. So my game plan was, I'll keep teaching the social media classes so that I can build my referral network. And that was the original game plan. But then from there, a couple months later, people were asking, when is the next one? So I did another class. That class was called Intro to TikTok, and it was very, very elementary, like super 101, like, here, click this button for that, and here's how you navigate. Very simple stuff. And in that class period, I remember at the very end, I opened it up to Q&A, and one of the other co-hosters too, of the group that I was a part of originally, she got on and said, "John, never ever do another one of these classes again without charging. Right? There's so much value here." And then she was like, "John, please, like, what's your Venmo? What's your Zelle? What's your Cash App? Please put it in the chat so we can pay you for the time and that you put into this stuff." And so, like, at that moment, I was so like caught off guard, because again, I was opening up to Q&A, not to have people throw money at me. Again, my play was to build my referral network, not to make money teaching classes, especially since I haven't I haven't sold a house up to that point in time. And so after the awkward, maybe like 3 minutes of like pausing, like, no, it's okay. No worries. You don't have to pay me. I was like, all right, let's keep the Q&A going. But I learned a lesson later on that I'll get into. But that was like, all right, maybe I should keep this going if people are enjoying these classes. So I ended up teaching another class in August of 2022. So the first one was in February, then it was April, I think, and then August was my first paid class. And I forget how much I charged for the class. I just know I made $1,000 for that class. It was a 1 hour class, I think, or maybe a 2 hour class, I forget. And that was the first time I made any money. Now, at that time period, $1,000 was like really good money. And I'm just like, okay, then maybe there's something here, maybe not. Now, I was at the time juggling real estate, podcasting, teaching social media classes, and working at a restaurant. And I was meeting with my coach. We hopped on a call, and he was like, John, you're doing all these things, and it looks great from the outside, but you're not winning in any one of them. You're too distracted. Your focus is too separated, right? And it's too spread out. Why don't you just pick one and commit? Now, at that time, I was already thinking maybe real estate isn't for me. I really love the teaching. I really love the presenting, and there's a lot of people that need help with this stuff. So around that time, I ended up signing up for this launch for this new platform, most revised, updated version of a platform. It's called ClickFunnels now. If you don't know what ClickFunnels is, don't worry about it. But long story short, it is like an all-in-one like website CRM kind of tool. I signed up for their launch, and in there I realized, like, oh my goodness, I could keep teaching my classes, keep doing them for free, because again, I didn't want to charge for classes. But then I could upsell at the end of my class and get one-on-one clients where I could just do the work for them. And I remember I got my first one-on-one client not too long after, and I realized this sucked. I didn't want to create content for other people. I love teaching people how to fish. I didn't want to fish for them. And so I kind of scrapped that idea, and I was kind of back to the drawing board. And then a month later, ChatGPT comes out. I started using ChatGPT very, very early on. And in January of 2023, I used ChatGPT to create a webinar on how to use ChatGPT. And at the end of it, I sold spots to a workshop. It was 20 spots at $200 a pop, I think. I made $4,000 off of that webinar that ChatGPT created for me. $4,000. I just turned 21, I think, year old kid at the time. And I made $4,000 off of a 1-hour presentation that I use AI to create 90% of. Like, that type of money just blew my mind. And that's when I realized that you can get paid for what you know. You can get paid for the knowledge, the wisdom, the expertise inside of your brain. It's what we call in the digital marketing world an infopreneur. Right? You're an entrepreneur in your business is information, right? You sell information in a way. You help people with the things that you know best. Like, think of, if a cook wanted to teach cooking classes, or a ballet dancer wanted to teach ballet classes, or a, college professor wanted to charge, paid courses. Like, you're getting paid to teach people what comes naturally to you. And once I started doing that, and at that time, this is when I hired my first business, a paid business coach. So I was already investing quite a bit of money in him. And that was the first month. And within like 2 weeks of me starting coaching with him, I made $4,000. That really helped me change the game forever. Then fast forward some more, June of 2023. Before that, like around March or April, spring 2023, I taught a class. I'm like, all right, let me try doing something again. Let me put something together. So I did another webinar, right? At the end, I pitched a $500 course. Had 5 people to buy, right? So from a 1-hour class, boom, now I made another $2,500. And then later on in June that same year, I did a 3-day challenge. It was a 4-day challenge. It was free to join. And at the end, I ended up getting, I forget, I want to say 19 or 20 or something. I forget the exact math, people, to join my course at the time. I ended up in that single week making $33,400 from that one launch. And that same week is when I worked my last week at my restaurant job. I went all into my business, and to this day, we're now in February 2026. I have yet to work a job since then. And this whole world of like infopreneurship is so amazing because you can literally do it from anywhere. You can just talk about things that you naturally enjoy talking about and getting paid for it. There's a whole nother world out there. And so again, most realtors, what they do is they'll spend months, sometimes, years building their pipeline only to fill it up with people who aren't ready to transact for another few months or years, right? And then they do this 36 touch campaign throughout, for years and years and years until eventually one day they're ready to purchase, or they're ready to sell, or they're ready to invest or rent. And the thing that sucks about this is that there's such a long turnaround time between when someone transacts in real estate and the next time they do another transaction. The average person, I think, makes a move like every 7 years or something like that. And bills are every single month. So if you don't have money coming in, it's going to be very hard to sustain all the difficult times in real estate, all the cyclical changes in real estate. And so how can we start making money as realtors without having to sell a house, without having to sell more houses? Well, we know a lot of information, a lot of valuable information. We're helping people with the largest financial transaction of most of their life, right? The average everyday consumer, their primary home is the largest financial transaction that they will ever undergo or take or transact in, or I don't know the right way to word it. So instead of thinking yourself as a real estate agent, I wanted you to put that hat to the side and put on the hat of a high ticket salesperson. Because that's essentially what a real estate agent is. You are a high ticket salesperson. Think about it. You work with somebody, and then at the end, you're getting paid thousands and thousands of dollars for your service. Now, where most regular high ticket salespeople, they're usually getting paid up front in full or getting paid in some sort of payment plan. You're doing all your work and you're getting paid at the very, very end. So it's a little annoying, but nevertheless, you are a high ticket salesperson. And I want to share my screen really quickly with you guys to go over some really game-changing stuff that's going to help you shift the way you value yourself, your time, your expertise, your knowledge, your experience, your resources, your Rolodex of people that you have, like vendors and things of that nature. Like, this is going to change how you see everything. So let me share my screen really quickly. Share screen. All right, here we are. So you're looking at this blank screen. And now the cool thing is I have Canva on my phone. So I'm going to be drawing on my phone, but you get to see it here live. So let me open this up for you on my phone. All right, cool. We are all the way over here. Let me flip this to the side. All righty. Why is my phone not flipping? Sorry, technical difficulties. Let's see if I could draw. Oh, there we go. There we go. Undo. Oh, this is perfect. All right, cool. This is perfect. All right, so as you can see here, we have this little ladder going on, right? This is called the value ladder, right? The value ladder. Here we go. Now, the cool thing about this value ladder is that there's different steps to it. So at the very bottom here, right, we have what's called low ticket offers, right? Low ticket. Now, what's low ticket? A low ticket offer is anything under $100. Anything under $100 is what you consider a low ticket offer. Now, as we go up the ladder, right, we get into mid ticket. Now, depending on who you ask, the pricing may vary. But mid-ticket is usually anywhere from $100 to like $3,000, right? $3,000, right? Then from there, we have high ticket, which is like $3K to $10K. And then we have premium high ticket, right? Premium high ticket offers. And that's pretty much anything $10K plus, right? Now, again, the average real estate agent, let's say you use a price point of $500,000, right? And let's say for ease of numbers, get a 3% commission on that, right? That is $15,000, right? So you're all the way up here in the premium high ticket offers. And so when you think about it, most real estate agents, right, they go from a random conversation, right, on the street or maybe at a Starbucks or maybe at a gym or whatever, right, to trying to sell somebody on a premium high ticket offer without building any value, without building any rapport, without delivering any value, And this is why most realtors have such low conversions, right? Because they're trying to go from complete strangers, never worked with me before, to, hey, give me $15,000. They're not saying it because, again, you don't get paid up front. You don't get paid on a month-by-month basis. You only get paid at closing. But this is essentially what you're doing to people. You're taking them from complete cold strangers to $15,000, right? And they haven't even met you yet or gotten to know you yet, right? This is another reason why realtors have such low rapport, right? This is why realtors have such a low reputation as an industry, because people are trying to always sell. You know, you got to be real estate 24/7. Every conversation is a real estate conversation. You hear all these things. And again, if you've talking to a past client, cool, it's a little different. But if you're talking to strangers and you're trying to sell people on, you know, buying, or selling right now, you're selling high ticket, ultra premium, high ticket sales without building any of the rapport first, right? And this is why scripts are so overly glorified, because instead of taking people through a proper customer journey, you're just going for the kill, right? Instead of doing a little bit of dating, you're just trying to get married first glance. And that is not a good recipe for your bandwidth. This is why most people are rejecting you. This is why you have to go through so many appointments just to get one client. Because, again, it's a lot harder to find premium high ticket people, especially when you're converting them from cold. And this is why, again, to beat a dead horse a little bit, if you took people through a proper, you know, value ladder, you wouldn't have to rely on scripts so heavily. Right? People rely on scripts to convince people to do something that they would have been better off not doing, or that they didn't want to do. See, there's a very fine line between manipulation and persuasion, right? And the fine line is intent. What's the primary intent of you trying to get someone to do something? Is it for their benefit or for yours? And in fact, the only benefit that you're looking to get out of anything should be theirs. Yours is just a byproduct, right? Yours shouldn't be factored into the decision-making process. You're there to present options and allow people to decide based on true and quality information which option is the best for them. And if that option consists of working with you, then you are supposed to be the, what's the word I'm looking for? The fiduciary who helps through that entire process. Right, so again, here is our value ladder. Now, I want you to look at, right, this section right here, right? I want you to look at this section right here. The mid-ticket, the $100 to $3,000 offer, right? In this price range, this is where businesses go to die. You do not want to get stuck in here. If you're going to sell low ticket, sell low, be cheap. If you're going to sell high ticket, be high. But don't get stuck in this middle ground right here. What do I mean, right? I don't want you to think of this and think, okay, I just got to find some things to sell. No, don't sell average products at average prices to average people. We're going to get an average transformation. And they're going to perform averagely or perform average. This range right here, this is not where you want to be, right? So you already have your high ticket offer, right? This is working with you one-on-one, right? This is helping people buy, sell, invest in real estate, right? This is your high ticket offer. Do you have a low ticket offer, right? There's a saying, right? A buyer is a buyer is a buyer, right? And it's a lot easier to convert a buyer into a repeat buyer than it is to convert someone from stranger to a buyer. So the whole point of having low ticket offers, you're not going to get rich selling this, but you're going to get buyers. And that's your whole goal. So this is where I'm going to break down. This is where I'm going to break down exactly your strategy. I'm going to help you create a low ticket offer to help you make an extra $50,000 this year, or your first $50,000 if you're brand new. So here's what we're going to do, right? First, I'm going to share a quick story though. LA Fitness, it's a gym, pretty much a national chain. People are signing up for LA Fitness memberships, and they'll go months, sometimes years, without ever stepping foot in the gym. Now, LA Fitness membership, if I'm not mistaken, is anywhere from, let's just say roughly $30, right? $30 a month, right? Or 35. I think I'm paying 35 or 36 after tax. $36 or $35 for LA Fitness membership. And they continue paying it month over month for the simple fact is that they have the intent to improve their fitness and improve their health. The intent is enough for them to continue paying for a gym membership that they never use. Why don't you start some sort of membership subscription for people to help them out with what you specialize in real estate? I'm going to use a first-time home buyer example. Let's say you want to work with first-time home buyers, right? Or home buyers in general, right? Let's use first-time home buyers to be extra specific. What if you started a $30 a month membership community for first-time home buyers who are looking ready to buy, right? No timeline. It could be this year, next year, but people who are interested in buying their first home. You started a $30 a month membership. Home ownership and health are two very, very important things, right? Home ownership helps you build wealth, right? And your health is your health. You only get one body, right? And no one wants to feel sucky. So like $30 a month, you're paying less than a gym membership. And then in this $30 a month community, you're hosting first-time homebuyer classes. You're doing Q&As about the home buying process. Let's say you have a private community for people to interact with each other, right? To share updates on the area, new things coming to town, right? News to keep an eye out for, right? How the market is doing, right? Upcoming events, citywide projects, right? Another thing, sorry. First-time home buyer resources. Maybe like a mortgage, a buyer checklist or a mortgage calculator, right? They're getting all this stuff for just $30 a month. Now, again, if you're thinking, why would anyone pay that? It's for the same reason they would pay a gym membership that they're not going to. They have an intent to do something major in their life, buy their first home. Why on earth would? And if you want to work with sellers, do the same exercise with a seller. Just use first-time home buyers, right? Now, if you can build this membership community up to 100 members, right? 100 members. Let's say you're doing $30 a month, or actually, I would recommend. I got this idea from my mentor. $30 every 4 weeks. That gives you an extra billing cycle. So instead of making $30 a month, that gets you $360 for the year, right? At $30 every 4 weeks, that gets you to $390 for the year, right? Per person. Let's say you get this community to 100 members. Now, again, that may sound like a lot, but remember, these are 100 people who say they want to buy a home with no specific timeline. If you were to get 100 buyers right now, and everyone would be completely overwhelmed. I don't care what you say, unless you have like 100 agents on standby, right? 50 agents that are trained on standby, ready to go. You're not servicing 100 buyers efficiently or effectively, right? But they don't have to buy right this moment. Some people may be ready to buy in 1 month, 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. But you can be providing them valuable resources this entire time, throughout the entire process. Most of the time, realtors, we're doing everything for free. We're giving all away our assets, all our resources, all our time, all our energy, all our knowledge for free without ever getting compensated until they finally close a deal. At $30 a month, you're not killing anybody's pockets, especially for the amount of value that you can provide. Let's say there's in Stanford, in Connecticut, right? There's a down payment assistance program that gets you up to $20,000. And I think if you use the property as your primary residence for 7 years, you stay in there for 7 years, it's forgivable. So let's say someone were to pay you $30 a month for, I don't know, let's say 5 years. What's the math on that, right? $30 a month, right? Or $30 every 4 weeks, right? Times every 4 weeks. Let's see, that's 13. And then 5 years, $390 times. $1,950, right? If they were to pay you every single 4 weeks for 5 years straight, they'll spend pretty much, let's say, $2,000. If they spend $2,000 and you help them get a $20,000 forgivable grant, they just made a 10x return on their investment. Not a 10% return, right? A 10x return, right? A 10% return would have been turning that $2,000 into $2,200. You turned that $2,000 into a $20,000 grant. So you're telling me that wouldn't be worth paying $30 a month? Like, if you generally have the resources to provide, you are delivering way more than $30 worth of value. So this should be an easy no-brainer sell. Again, especially to someone who says that they're interested and actually has the intention, right? Now, if you get 100 members at $30 every 4 weeks, that'll come out to $39,000 for the year. Now, wait, John, you said you're going to help me make an extra $50,000. What happened to the other 11? No worries. This is where being valuable, being a resource is. You most likely, if you've been in a business, have vendor partners. And if you are new to the business, find some good ones. Let's say you have a lender, an attorney, a title company, an inspector, appraiser, electrician, plumber, insurance person, credit repair person, general contractor, roofer, pest control, landscaper, painter. You name it. Right there, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. That's it. That's 14 vendors right there that you could potentially reach out to and say, hey, here's what I'm looking to do. I want to build a community of home buyers here in this city, right? My goal is to expand this to 100 members, right? 100 homeowners or first-time home buyers, 100 future sellers, whatever you want to call it, depending on what your audience is. I like your work and I value what you do. I'm looking for preferred vendors to help sponsor this community and be the only vendors that I recommend. All I would need is $1,000 for the year. And you are going to be put in front of all my buyers, and we're only going to use and recommend you. Boom. Like, it doesn't have to be that complicated. And it sounds simple and easy because I'm making it sound simple and easy, but it really is simple and easy, right? Let's say you have a community, even if it's 20 people, right? You're paying $1,000 for the year, right? Most vendors are paying for SEO and paying for, Facebook ads and paying marketing agencies. If you have a relationship with this vendor, right, and you're going to put them in front of 20 people who are qualified leads, right, and then every now and then, they can come in and do a little training or do a little class for the buyers, right? You're putting them in front of an audience that is already raising their hand. I mentioned earlier, a buyer's a buyer. They're paying $30 to be in their community. That's a more qualified lead for them. And they don't have to worry about lead generating. They don't have to worry about closing. The people already trust you, the agent. And so when you refer them to your preferred vendors, it's going to be an easy handoff. So now you're not just providing value to the people that you soon to be working with. Now you're providing value to the vendors. Now, I'm only saying charging $1,000 because that's pretty dirt cheap and self-explanatory, right? But let's say you do get to that 100 active members of buyers. If you want to up the price, let's say you have other vendors that are, knocking down your door. Hey, we want to get in front of your people. Hey, we want to collaborate with you. And it's like, hey, I have this opportunity. I already have all spots filled out. Right? You could join the wait list, right? And then let's say another vendor doesn't renew, up the price. Hey, it used to be $1,000 for the first round of, grandfathered in vendors, but now it is $1,500 for the year. And don't charge month to month for your vendors. Charge them up front. $1,500 for the year, $2,000 for the year, or whatever, right? And now they're going to be the preferred vendor of choice when anyone goes into your community. Now, if you're wondering how it could look a little something like this for those of you who want an idea as to what this potentially could look like, right? I'm going to share my screen really quickly for all you guys. Boom. So look at this right here. Imagine you had a community similar to this one, right? And in the community, people can go in and watch videos to help get started with the process, right? They could watch trainings that you've done in the past at their own leisure, right? Boom, they could watch all the trainings, right? Here on the left-hand side over here, imagine that you have all your resources. Hey, home buyer guide. Hey, favorite preferred vendors, right? Preferred roofer, preferred lenders, right? Start your process. Like, imagine you had all these free little things here for them to get access and engage in. Then imagine, right? Imagine you had like a feed, right, for them to actually engage in, right? An actual feed that cooks kind of like a Facebook where people can post and, you know, be active and comment on each other's things, right? And let's say you can DM your people, right? You can DM people on this platform, and everyone can engage, and it can just be a super robust, active, live community. So here's another thing. So if this idea is of any interest to you, here's where it gets even crazier, right? This is where you can start helping it grow like a wildfire. And again, this is all kind of like might be new information for you. But like once you start building this community, the first question will be like, all right, well, how do I get started? Well, that's a question for another day, right? You can just make a Facebook group and you can just have a Venmo or Zelle or whatever. You can start simple. But once you start getting the group going, right, when they close a home with you, the deal is then they get granted access for life and they don't have to pay the $30 a month. So now they have an incentive to work with you. You're going to be providing all this value for years or months, right? And then when they close a deal with you finally, they don't have to keep paying, but they get to stay in a community. They get to stay, you know, involved. They get to get access to all your preferred vendors still, right? This is when you're going above and beyond and delivering extra value. Another cool thing you could do is you can set up a refer a friend program, right? And now there's platforms to do it. My team can help build all that out for you. But like there's platforms where let's say it's $30 a month. You invite a friend, right? You get $10 for every friend that you invite per every 4 weeks or per every month, right? And so now you invite 3 friends and they're all looking to buy homes. Now you're getting your membership paid for free. So now it's going to be word of mouth galore. People are going to be referring friends left and right. So again, I talked about a lot this episode, but I want to do a quick recap, right? Real estate agents are high ticket salespeople. And the more you keep trying to go from cold stranger to high ticket sales or ultra high ticket sales for some of you who are luxury, the harder it's going to be for you to convert clients consistently and reliably. Find a way to create some sort of low ticket offer. Now, I gave you an example. You can create a community. It could also be like a like a book, you know, a $10, book or $15. Let's say you do a weekly or monthly home buyer seminar. Charge for that, right? That doesn't have to be free. People who pay attention. So you're going to be doing not only yourself a favor, but you're going to be doing them a favor because they're actually going to pay attention. They're going to be able to implement. They're going to get so much more value from the same material that you're teaching just by you putting a price tag on it, even if the price tag is low. And then from there, right, remember, quick sidebar, people vote with their credit cards. So if they're not willing to pay $30 to learn how to buy their first home, they're probably not that serious yet about buying it. It's not of importance yet. It's not that urgent for them yet. So let them self-select, right? Don't try to convince them. Don't try to objection handle them. Don't try to persuade them, right? That's what they decide. That's what they decide. But for those that do put their credit card down, pay the $30 or whatever you want to charge, you know, hey, this person means business. They're serious. And those are the people that you're gonna want to work with anyway. So you're gonna be doing yourself a favor, and you're gonna be making your job a lot more enjoyable. Now, again, I covered a lot. So make that low ticket offer. Figure out what it is. It could be a community. It could be a book. If you need help with my team, right, sign up for my upcoming cohort. I'll love to workshop that with you. But after you get that low ticket offer, if you're gonna go the membership route, $30 a month, you start getting people in, or $30 every 4 weeks. And then for your vendor partners, you start reaching out to them and say, hey, would you want to be a sponsored preferred vendor or something like that? Boom. And you don't have to create tiers, just one flat fee, $1,000 for the year. Boom. Get all your spots filled out. That'll help you make an extra $54,000 next year without selling any houses. That's all for me, and I'll see you in the next video.